Just because this property is a great bedding property doesn't mean you can't draw them in with a food plot of your own.
But Jason, let's give everybody a quick, give me the 30-second elevator pitch on your background with real estate and how that translates to hunting properties.
So I started in real estate about 10 years ago and quickly elevated to one of the top 1% of realtors in the country for residential, vacant land, commercial properties. And from there, I got to the point where I just really wanted to follow and mimic my passion of hunting. So I really started getting into the deer hunting world of real estate, where I could do both. I could be around deer 24/7, all year long, along with my other passion of real estate and helping people buy and sell their dream properties and get them started in the real estate world, which is probably one of the best investments and safest investments you'll ever see in your lifetime.
It's absolutely blown my mind because I was skeptical of it. I mean, I've been here a long time, and I've told you this story. I've told everybody this story, but I'm going to say it again. When I first moved here in 1994, 2 years out of my first job, and a guy at work at Krause Publications said, "What are you going to do? You're going to buy a house? You're going to rent?" And I said, "I'm going to buy some hunting land." And he just scoffed. He said, He said, "If you want to pay $1,000 an acre, go right ahead." And I was with him up until not that long ago. I went from 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 to 3,000. We're like, okay, this is never going to increase, and it keeps increasing.
It does, and I deal a lot with some people that have been owning land for 40, 50 years, and they're like, I bought that for $100 an acre, and now it's $5,000 an acre. And you know what, Dan? In 50 years from now, people are gonna say, I bought that for $5,000 an acre only, and now it's worth $15,000 an acre. That's what's going to happen,
They don't make it anymore.
They don't make it anymore that I'm aware of, and so yeah, it's definitely going to go up.
That was a Gene Autry quote, by the way. He said this was back, I think, if you guys can Google it and let me know. It was in the 40s or the 50s. He said, buy land, they don't make it anymore. That's a fact. And that's true, and it's the true. You see it too with farmland.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because back in the day, we can't farm that. Well, it's all rocks. Well, guess what? They've got equipment now that can get rid of rocks and improve soils. And so if you have the dream, you can actually accomplish it.
Well, and I work a lot with farmers, and one of the hardest things is farmers to get more land because a lot of this land is now being bought up by individuals to put their dream home or their cabin on, their hunting cabin, and so they're losing land to farm. So that price of that farmland is definitely going up.
And it is countrywide, right?
Oh, it is. I mean, I hunt 4 states a year approximately, consistently, and they all have the exact same story.
It's the exact same story. So number one, where's all the money coming from? And number two, is there still that little utopia fantasy land out there where somebody can buy cheap hunting land, or is that just gone?
I would love to know where that money tree is because I would like to find it or plant a few of them, but the money's coming from somewhere. But, there is that land. The biggest thing about buying land inexpensive is you have to buy what everybody else is willing to pass by, right? And I don't care if it's land or a house or whatever. You have to look past something in order to get the property that not everybody wants. But you have the vision of making it to where everybody would want it. And that's what I would recommend to anybody, like their first property they're looking to buy or don't have a big budget. And I've been there personally. I bought that swampland that was just pure water and swamp and turned it into something where somebody wanted to buy it. So I would start there. I wouldn't look for the land that has the ag and the income off of it and it's all buildable, because that per dollar per acre is going to be extremely high. And for someone on a budget or your first time, it's probably not the right property for you.
It's a good point. And I'm going to use my own experience here. I'm on my third small property, and it's ranged from 5 acres up to almost 10 now. But it's the same thing that you talk about is you get it, you look at it, and it's like there's really not much here, but that bird's eye view, there are some deer around, and now there's things that you can do inexpensively, and we're going to talk about some of that today, inexpensively to make that property better. So if you want to keep it, you can hunt on it, or you can leverage that to sell it to maybe move up to that next piece that will be better. We always strive for more and better and all that.
Exactly.
But there's things like that.
When we come back, Noah shows us 3 simple structures to help position a big buck into your crosshairs this season. You're watching Deer and Deer Hunting Properties. Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is brought to you by Spy Point Trail Cameras.
You can basically have stands around this entire property, not put any pressure on your property, and take advantage of either pressure from the neighboring properties or just the predominant winds. Makes it very convenient when hunting early season, but also especially during the pre-rut and the rut. If you've got bucks cruising through, again, the only way you know a property is by hunting it. You've got to let the deer show you how to hunt them. And once I figure this out, how the deer are using the property, I've got so many tools at my disposal just based on how the property is configured on how I could hunt it.
Today, Noah Rux is going to show us 3 simple structures you can add to your property to help move deer into your sites this season.
Welcome back to DDH Properties. I'm Noah Rux. Today we're going to go check out a unique piece of property. It is right next to a lake. This structure might be able to help you if you have low areas on your property that you can't get any equipment in. Let's go check it out.
What do I mean by simple structures? All we are trying to do is create a trail system or corridor by adding or removing land features to alter deer movement. Just like humans, we like to follow the path of least resistance.
So you can see a giant marsh behind us. So when we're coming in, we're coming off a river channel. It butts up right to their property. Many people don't think there's going to be a lot of deer or even deer at all. However, there's a buck rub right next to the river, so you already know there will be deer here. Let's see what it looks like from the sky and a stand. I think we'll be surprised.
In this scenario, the landowner puts cedar posts out in his marsh leading to the stand site he currently hunts. With the lack of land features in a marsh, the fence posts pose as a tree to help give deer something to naturally want to follow year-round. The cedar posts are positioned to lead deer from feeding sites to bedding sites right past the blind. Looking from an aerial perspective, it is remarkable to see how active these trails are.
These posts are super easy to put in. All they did was spread them out 10, 15 feet away. They had them laying around, and now the deer are using them like a highway. You can see right here. Since these are cedar posts, this actually doubles as a rub site as well. These posts all could be rubbed up by one buck or different bucks. With it being also a spot they could rub, also increases the odds of a mature buck going past your stand. This stand is actually set up for when they travel back to the bedding area, which we're in right now, or when they get up in the middle of the day just to shift beds, or when they go back out to the egg fields. 2 years ago, they shot a really good deer about just 150 yards away, right next to the water. So big deer do live in the marsh.
Another example is a simple mowed path. After keeping a well-maintained path, you may start to see deer travel on them day after day. With a blind in the right spot and the path connecting to food, water, or cover, it increases the odds for a potential harvest. Take the time to find out where your deer are coming, going, and what your property offers the deer before you start changing the ecosystem. Make sure you follow all local and federal laws to make sure the changes you're going to make are allowed.
Here we have a creek, too wide to even think about jumping it with an ATV or an UTV. So this is another example of a simple structure. This is a little more complicated than the cedar post. However, the deer still use it. On your property, if you do have a lowland or a water stream that you need to cross, a bridge is a great way to do that. Even though you think you might use it a lot, the deer probably will use it more than you. It just takes a little bit of time for them to get used to. So with this bridge, the deer are already used to it walking down. This is a great vantage point for you to have a trail cam right next to it to monitor the deers, what they're all doing, and how they're traveling back to the egg fields behind us.
At the end of the day, keep it simple. Whether it's mowing a path or building a bridge, adding simple structures to your hunting properties can help funnel deer into stand sites and increase your chance to harvest fresh venison for you and your family. After the break, Noah Rux jumps into what Spy Point has new on the market. Then later, Steve Bartylla tags out big on opening day. You're watching Deer and Deer Hunting Properties. Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is brought to you by Orion Hunting Products, America's #1 modular deer blind.
Here's a reason why you should learn your trees. This is a tree that does not get a lot of respect. This is a box elder. A lot of people cut it down and leave it lay and they say it's no good, it's a junk tree. Well, it's not a long living tree, but it's a member of the maple family. It's great deer browse and good firewood. So what you can do is you can cut these out. They grow up from the stumps. It's everlasting browse for deer and good firewood for your deer camp.
If you're in the market for a trail camera that shoots awesome video, this is one that you need to check out. This Forest Pro S 2.0 camera has a 110-foot range detection system. It shoots video in 4K or 1080p, and you also can switch up your intervals up to 10 to 2-minute long videos. If you're not a video person, this camera is still a great option for you. It's got a 48 megapixel camera, so just those pictures can be crystal clear for you. So this camera is actually in a great spot for any different types of animals. I know this spring we had some turkeys come down and pick through the clover fruit that's already here. We should be able to get some videos of some fawns that come through right off this meadow and feed into the clover plot. And then hopefully we get some big bucks coming out of velvet during their velvet stage. If not, I know we'll have some hardhorn pitchers coming here late fall. At this spot, I don't really have any trees. I'm in a field, so I'm going to put it on a fence row. I have a maintained trail system behind me to the left that comes out of the bedding. The food plot that I'm going to be putting in, it is going to be a bean field this fall, so I haven't set it up yet. However, I know I'm going to start working on this in the next week or so. So I'm kind of just getting the cameras in place, ready before I go out and start doing everything to the food plot. I already know there's a couple deer that are coming through here at night. Just kind of want to see what they are before I start working on the food plot. So this camera is solar powered. It actually pulls the solar power first before it drains your batteries. So the solar power, I have mine on a fence line right on a field edge. I'm going to be planting this with beans. So I don't want to intrude here after I plant it. I want to kind of let it be. So if you're in the woods, the solar power will still get enough light through the trees to have enough power to run the camera. You also have the backup batteries that you provide already in the camera. So I'm super excited to see how this camera performs this year. If you're looking for a camera, definitely check out the Forest Pro S 2.0 at spypoint.com.
We're about to go on a really exciting hunt, and I would love to tell you how I had this buck pattern, man. I knew exactly where this buck was bedding. I knew exactly where he was feeding. I knew how he was getting between the two, and I had this all dialed in, and I'm gonna slip in there on opening afternoon and I'm gonna tag this animal. Well, none of that's true. Quite honestly, it's not true a lot of times when people say it is. The reality of this situation for me is I was running behind.
Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is brought to you by DDH Outdoors. Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is brought to you by the all-new Feed Hub by Moultrie Mobile.
The reality of this situation for me is I was running behind. When I'm running by the properties I hunt during firearm season, they're managed properties. So I'm trying to balance actually getting the job that I want done, filling that tag, and not kicking all these deer to the neighbors. I'm running behind. Because I'm running behind, if I end up heading into where I was planning on going, oh, we're talking a great spot, but I'm already going to be kicking deer out because I've trained the deer in that area to feel perfectly safe from limiting the amount of pressure they receive. So even during firearm season, they're moving naturally, at least a whole bunch of them. So what I did, I ended up going to a very low impact location. Just, you know what, it's opening afternoon. All I'm gonna do is get an hour sit in here, get the pump primed, and then we'll be able to do some serious hunting after that. The whole reason I selected this stand is, as I've already alluded to, because it's so low impact to get to. It's a little hidden field. You can get to that hidden field without any issue worrying about and then all you gotta do is hit the creek, walk the creek, pop up the creek, jump up into the stand, and you are set. That's exactly what I did. I no more than got settled in, and sure enough, out comes some deer. I've got a buck tag and a doe tag to fill, so I filled that doe tag right away, went over there, slapped that tag on it, and climbed back up into the stand. Just gonna go ahead and relax and enjoy the last half when I look out across, and I'm pretty sure that's the buck I'm actually after, and he's making a beeline straight for me. Grab the binoc, sure enough, it's him. And he ended up dropping right within sight. I went ahead and was actually trying to, more than anything, just get out and enjoy the hunt so I could get serious about it tomorrow. You know, that's why they call us trained professionals, because we know so darn much that it often doesn't work out the way we want. I'm mocking myself here. Actually, this worked out beyond what I wanted, but it was not what I anticipated in any way, shape, or form. Frankly, he showed up and gift wrapped himself, and I just was that blindly lucky. But you know what? I'll take a little bit of luck every darn time.